Hi my friend, I hope you are doing well. In this video I want to speak about intelligent design. If you stopped here, please don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe. It brings a lot of clarity to many people on this planet who are looking for the answers to the questions who we are, where we are coming from, what is the true meaning of our evolution, because it has a very deep and meaningful impact in our life and life perception about who we are and what is our life about. Where are we moving towards in our life. So each and everybody of us, we are on different levels of evolution, spiritual, psychological, intellectual, but we all are part of the integral system, and we are all equal in front of our Creator. So I think my understanding and share can be beneficial to somebody who is going through similar experiences and wants to find more deep meaning to our life and existence on this planet. So I would like to share my story from my young childhood, and I hope you can feel the meaning in that and you can resonate with what I've shared. I just want to put a disclaimer here that I am not a scientist, but I used to do a very conscious internal work during my life, and all my realization, understanding, feelings and perception of the world comes from the place of connection with my soul. So when I was a kid, even when I was a baby, I remember myself being a baby and growing in a village, in a countryside, where my young parents used to work full time during the day when I was little baby, and my grandmother had to take care of me. And sometimes I remember myself being put in a place where I could not escape. It was like a fence which will protect me to go out somewhere where I could be where I could not be so safe. And because my parents and my grandparents have to do the work outside in the garden, I used to stay alone, being a baby in that closed space. And I remember that feeling of abandonment. That was a bit scary, and the world seems to me very gray and without any state of love or peace. And in that state I could see cloud, like a form of cloud, a form of energy which didn't have specific form. It was an energy charged with that feeling of love, peace and safetyness. I experienced that vision a few times, and that I didn't understand what was that at that time. Now I'm looking back and identify myself with my state back, and I can do a clear interpretation now. When I was 4 or 5 years old, I used to have a very deep connection with nature, peace and stillness during the night, and you can be present in the place of nature. I was curious, what is the sky about? I was just fascinating, and I could stay hours outside during the night to watch the stellar sky. And sometimes I was asking my parents, what is beyond the sky? And my mom couldn't answer that question. She could give me an answer at her level of understanding, but that was not enough to me. Having that hunger of finding the answers to my questions. Later on at school, I could talk to my teachers, and they could give me that scientific explanation at their level. Still, that was not enough to me. When I was 16 years old, I was asking myself, what would happen with me if my parents didn't met in this lifetime? I got the answers from within that if my mom and dad couldn't make it happen, then I would be born through another couple. And that knowledge came from within. I didn't read any books of yoga, or I didn't know anything about karma or reincarnation. It was just a knowledge which was so true to me, which came in from my inside. And when I got that answer, I straight away asked another question about my soul's incarnation on this planet, which came very naturally from within me. I asked, what about, how does it happen? What is this planet about? Then if it is true that I could come on this planet, into this material world, no matter what, it means like it was meant to be what it is, and I needed that experience in that family environment. That was a knowledge which came in from within me, and I accepted that. I realized that I needed that experience. That was for my good, for my highest good. And another realization which I've experienced was that this world, this space, this material world, where I was spending so much time connecting with nature, is in such perfect balance and harmony that there were no doubts that there is an intelligence, and I called it a higher intelligence, which make it happen, which has control over it. That realization gave me so much peace in my soul and in my mind. And after that, when I grew up, when I moved to the city and I had access to more literature, I could find a lot of spiritual books, and I could access the philosophies from India. Because my parents were not religious, they were baptized, and I was baptized Orthodox Christian Orthodox, but we were not actively participating. We had that as a tradition in the family. And when I got that realization about higher consciousness, I started to look for books which I could find more answers. So I went myself to our local church, and I bought a Bible, and I bought also some Orthodox books there. And what I've written in those books was something that didn't suit to my beliefs and values, because they kept telling us about a very limiting concept of this world. They made me doubt what I've experienced and what I've realized from within. When I started reading the Bible, I also got even more questions and even more doubts about myself, about me as a woman, and about relationship between man and woman, about relationship between God and human. And I didn't like that interpretation that women must be led by men. I didn't like the interpretation, but that people, mankind, is a slave, or I had to position myself as a slave in front of God. I didn't like the concept of astrology, that if we are guiding ourselves or if we are studying astrology, it is evil. So it impacted me anyway, and it was hard to me to overcome that knowledge, because astrology is a science which could give me a lot of insights about who I am specifically and what is my life purpose. Also in the Bible, I didn't like the interpretation of our body, that we should not touch ourselves and we should be judged and have that guilt and feeling sin about getting to know how our bodies are functioning at all levels. So all that wisdom mixed with this confusion created within me even more questions when I decided that actually Orthodox philosophy and religion couldn't fit into my paradigm of how I see the world. So that's why I've started to go to other churches, to Catholic Church. I went to Jewish synagogue. I was studying later yoga, integral yoga, and all other kinds of yoga by reading books of Swami Vivekananda, Swami Shivananda, Shri Aurobindo and the Mava and Satprem, Shri Chinmoy, Shri Yogananda. Later, I discovered the wisdom of Kabbalah. Then I discovered Vedic yoga, who introduced me to relationship concepts. And he also led me to another confusion where women had to accept men as they are. And even though my relationship is not the healthiest, why I got confused and trapped into all these concepts, mental concepts, and I got away from my true feeling and my true perception of who I am and what is my connection to God and to this integral system in which we are all taking part. So last week, when I discovered that documentary, and when I understood that it is proved scientifically that what I've experienced in my adolescence period of life, and all my realizations and understanding actually are scientifically proved, and there is a higher consciousness and more people are adapt to this concept. It is absolutely fascinating. I'm so happy that all the puzzles within my mind is getting into place, and I feel so much peace of mind, peace in my soul, and also I feel healed by understanding everything what happened in my past, in my life, in this life, with my family, with my school culture where I grew up, and everything which is related to our evolution at a global level in general. We are all connected, and we all have this interaction between each other. And as a collective, as a part of one, how we can grow together and find that space of peace, love, joy, true connection, healthy, happy, balanced connection which will build each and every one of us. I hope it makes sense and you can resonate with that. And please write in the comments, do you agree with all these concepts and what I've experienced? Did you have similar experiences and realizations and insights of love, of light? I will be very grateful to hear from you. Because having this understanding will help us to get rid of all our illusions and misunderstandings and delusion about life, which we were taught and somebody created intentionally those misunderstandings about the life and putting us in a place of ignorance which we are struggling and we are suffering during the life. But everything is so simple. We can connect to our true self, to our creator within us by living in the present now and making that connection with our true source of existence. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will appreciate if you will subscribe, you will put likes, and this way you will help me to grow this project, and I will share with you our insights. Thank you. Have a lovely day. Bye.